Hi guys, thanks for joining me for this week's river tutorial. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back, and if you're new to the channel, please click that subscribe button. What you see in the vise then is an emerging Grannom pattern, and without further ado, let's get into it. The hook in the vise then is a Hanak 530 barbless hook. This one's at size 12. It's on a medium wire and it's in black nickel. The thread I'm going to be using today is from Fish On. This is the ultimate tying silk, and as you can see it's in olive green. Now the first thing I want to do is just get a touch of super glue onto the shank of the hook. I think it just helps to embed these nano silks and stops body rotation. So I'm just going to use my silk to spread it up and down a bit and then get that on. Now I'm going to leave my tail to the side there and I'm going to come back. So I'm going to stop approximately 1/8 of an inch from the eye of the hook. Next, for the wing, I'm going to be using some coastal deer hair. This one's been dyed a lovely olive colour. And I'm going to take out approximately 1 centimetre from the pelt, or the patch should I say. I haven't got a pelt. I don't sit in my dining room with a deer hair's pelt round my neck. My wife would just not allow it. I'm just taking out some of the ends. I'm not going to stack this, but I am going to comb out any of the under fur, dead ends, just get rid of that. So as you can see, it's already quite well aligned. Now I'm going to swap that round in my hand because it is going to be tied in with the tips coming over the top of the eye. And what I want is about just over the length of the body. Bring my thread over, like so. I'm going to just come back several turns to lock that into place. Now before I do anything else, I've still got the waist end in my hand. I want to come in with my snips and at an angle I want to just trim that away. Now before I carry on, I'm going to slick everything back, bring my thread up to the front and just get a little bump in front of my deer hair wing, and then pick up my rag end, which I purposely didn't cut off, and just catch all that waste in. Now you might have to go over it a couple of times, but get it nice and smooth. Don't want any of them fibres sticking out from your body. And I'm going to stop once I've got my thread just down past. Now at this point I'm going to take that away, and for the rib I'm using some Spartan. It's just a clear rib. Now you can't get this anymore, but the equivalent is from Vineyards and it's called buzzer wrap. It's not quite the same, but good enough for government work is what I would say. But the Spartan stuff is really robust. It's a little bit thicker and it's just a better product in my humble opinion, but sadly no longer made. So I'm going to come right down round the bend of the hook. Now the body material I'm using, this is from Troutline. It's Kapok and it's olive in colour. So it's great dry fly material. I like it on bugs as well. It traps in air bubbles. It's very versatile. You know, don't pigeonhole your fly tying stuff into that's for this and that's for that. I use you know, some of my river fly tying stuff for tying reservoir flies and vice versa. Just dub that on as you would normally. Don't worry if you dubbed it on too tight. We can come in and rough it out with our brush once the rib's gone up. Just take your time. And once you're content you've got a bit on, or enough to do you, you can come round and slowly build up a nice taper in your body. Like so. And that's looking not too bad. I'm fairly pleased with that. Just move some of them stray deer hairs. And then the first turn of your Spartan rib, or your clear rib, is going to come onto the shank of the hook. And then you can bring it up through the kapok. And you can see I'm already getting that nice sort of tapered appearance, which is ideal for this pattern. Try and not trap any of that deer hair winging. And then as you get up near the top, you can capture in your rib, like so. Get a couple of turns in front, just stops your thread backing up and you loosen your rib back down the body of the fly. You can trim that away. So that's looking not too bad. Now what I'm going to do next is add a little bit of wax to my thread. Get several more turns in there and then come to the front. Now before I go on, I'm just going to come in with my dubbing brush and rough out the kapok slightly. And it roughs out really nice, and with that clear wrap body you get a lovely effect. Okie dokie, so far so good. Now next I've got some snowshoe here. I would say that there isn't really an alternative for this, but as you can see, some of the snowshoe is quite wiry and it does give the impression of legs, and I want to take, you don't have to count, but just take a little pinch of the wiry legs, and I use this underneath, and what I want to try and achieve is the look of little legs there. So I'm going to slick my deer hair back out the way, get the length of the legs correct, come up under and lock that into place. Then I can come in with my scissors, excuse my fingers, and trim that away. So again, I'm going to bring my thread back to behind my deer hair. Might seem a lot of faffing, but you do get a really nice effect with a little leggy look there. And I'm going to go back to my snowshoe. Now this time I don't want any of this stuff at the top. I want to get in about the bottom and just pull out some of these fibres. It's a highly buoyant material, and this makes a fantastic thorax and really does help finish the fly off nice. So I've got that dubbed on, and then just keep your legs down below where they belong. Come round to the front, and then to finish off the fly, a tiny little bit of super glue onto your silk. This saves you going in later with a needle to try and finish the fly and obviously making a mess of it, filling the eye full of super glue, and you don't want to do that really. So this just does the job for you. So once you've done that, you can snip off, and the job, as they say, is a good one. Now I would treat the top of this fly with some floatant, wait for it to go off, and then it would go into my dry fly box. Now I can see a little couple of things that will bother me because I'm a bit anal that way, so I'll just come in with the tweezers and remove that. And there we go, that's an emerging Grannom part. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got something out of it. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, please think about clicking the button. I would really appreciate your support.